Come, let us explore the structured chaos that is the paradox of going with the flow. This morning's lesson is drawn from the 29th passage of Prahe Vajra's vast expanse of the diamond-like mind. I would love it if together as a team we could relaxingly recite this 4 times, and in between each repetition, I would love to I would love to ladle out layer after layer of explanation, if I may. Together, it is one, completely beyond the restriction of a detail. The yogi dwells in the pathways of the birds in the sky, in the essence that never occurred and never originated. Where are all phenomena supposed to exist? One moment, if you please. Okay. The Buddha's path is completely limitless. It is not bound or constrained or chained by a single detail. That reminds me of a passage that can be found in the Christian New Testament in a Pauline epistle. Everything is permitted, but not everything is profitable. The yogi dwells in the pathways of the birds in the sky. As we watch birds fly with our naked eye without any sophisticated scientific equipment, a bird's journey through the sky seems completely random and unpredictable. How does that work with the individuals who traverse the Buddha's path? Glad you asked. The 7th and 8th folds of the Buddha's Eightfold Path are mindfulness and meditation. Now, which are the complete opposite of concentration and contemplation, also known as focus and analysis. Traverse the path of focus and analysis, you will exhaust the front part of your brain. You will trigger your amygdala, the seat of anxiety and aggression. And no one wants that. No one wants that at all. However, when we traverse the path of mindfulness and meditation, we calm our amygdala. Our amygdala is calmed, and our anterior cingulate gyrus, our seat of empathy, is stimulated. When our choices, utterances, and deeds are guided by the centered spontaneity that is the byproduct of mindfulness and meditation, our choices, utterances, and deeds flow not from the extreme of contrivance, nor from the extreme of scattered spontaneity, but instead according to the middle path of centered spontaneity. This is inferred by the statement, the yogi dwells in the pathways of the birds of the sky. So, When we say or read, it is one completely beyond the restriction of a detail. That means we're not buttoned up, we're not uptight, we're not perfectionistic, we're not contrived, nor are we scattered. We effortlessly flow from the form of spontaneity that is not scattered, but instead centered. Please chant with me. Please relaxingly recite with me. It is one, completely beyond the restriction of a detail. The yogi dwells in the pathways of the birds of the sky, in the essence that never occurred and never originated. Where all phenomena supposed to exist. So the essence that never occurred and never originated. This is a twofold phenomena. Number one, this essence is known by many names. It is a reference to that which is described in the Sanskrit as the Tathagata or Buddha essence. Some people would translate that as Buddha nature. So consider, if you will, the Buddha, the real or imagined archetype of the Buddha's foolish cousin, Devadatta. He is the archetype of focus, analysis, anxiety, and aggression. The Buddha is the archetype of noticing vulnerably, passively, viscerally, randomly, fleetingly, as well as relaxing and releasing to such a degree that which we noticed during our previous inhalation could begin to fleetingly feel somewhat less stressful, less permanent, and even less defining. Not to mention the empathy as well. So, Devadatta nature, Buddha nature. So here's what's really cool. Regardless of how intense our anger or fear might be, regardless of how long we have felt our anger or fear, every time we relax into our exhalation, for anger or fear we might have noticed during our previous inhalation, can begin to feel as if it was as non-graspable as a vast empty void. Now, any good English teacher will remind us that a simile is only as useful as it is relatable. Therefore, we have to ask the question, what? What is a real-world example of a non-graspable, vast empty void? How about the illusion of the infinite azure sky on a bright and beautiful cloudless morn, which, although is tantalizing to the eye, is non-graspable to the hand? So, how non-graspable could our fear and aggression feel? They could feel as non-graspable as if they had never been born. Together, let us relaxingly recite. It is one, completely beyond the restriction of a detail. The yogi dwells in the pathways of the birds in the sky. In the essence that never occurred and never originated, where are all phenomena supposed to exist? The great South Indian Buddhist philosopher Nagarjuna explained. He was basically a Buddhist reformer. The Buddha taught, and over years people ran astray, and then periodically reformers would come, pull people back on course before they wandered off again. Nagarjuna was one of these reformers. And he told people there's no need to choose between the conventional and the ultimate. Every time we breathe in, we cannot help but experience the conventional. Every time we breathe out, we cannot help but notice the ultimate. Just as the pendulum of a grandfather clock swings to the right and to the left over and over again, as long as its gravity drive permits it to. Similarly, every time we inhale, we are wired to notice duality. Every time we exhale, we're wired to experience non-duality. Or to put it another way, samsara is perceived during each inhalation, nirvana is savored during each exhalation. It is physically impossible to only breathe in. Similarly, it is also physically impossible for a one-winged bird to fly. A bird needs two wings to fly. We need both inhalations and exhalations to live. We need both to notice and release if we are to be happy, healthy, well-adjusted Buddhas. Happy, healthy, well-adjusted people. Or I should perhaps say, the happy, healthy, well-adjusted Buddhas that we were born to be. So consider, if you will, celluloid, film, movies. There is something the brainy kids call persistence of vision, wherein if we see enough pictures per second, then it creates an illusion of background and foreground and movement and non-movement. It creates the illusion of the cinema. Similarly, as we go through life, we notice phenomena seem real, phenomena seem unreal, and we flip and flop between the two with every inhalation and exhalation, and that's ideal. That's how we were able to cope with what Shakespeare described as the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune. So now we come to our fourth and final recitation of this passage. It is one completely beyond the restriction of a detail. The yogi dwells in the pathways of the birds in the sky, in the essence that never occurred and never originated. Where are all phenomena supposed to exist? And so we conclude our work with this wonderful passage reminding us of centered spontaneity, also known as going with the flow. Having completed our opening lesson, it's time for us to shift gears. It is General Leia Organa Saturday morning. Come, let us meditate like a Jedi after approximately 30 seconds of housekeeping. This is the Dzogchen Lama Jigme Gyatso of the Buddha Joy Meditation School. For more than 30 years, I have harnessed my autistic special interests as well as my ADHD hyperfocus to spend about 8 hours a day, almost every day, studying, practicing, mastering, and reverse engineering the teachings and techniques of each school of meditation so that I can become your personal, nerdy, neurodivergent guide to nirvana. Welcome, my friends, to meditate like a Jedi, which is made possible due to the generosity of viewers just like you. For the remainder of this morning's practice, let us work with the latest iteration of very easy meditation practice text, or sadhana, if you're nasty. Let us open the practice by bringing the 4 bases of mindfulness into the path of the wisdom of letting go. To do that, we're going to chant 4 couplets. These couplets are not prayers to real or imagined celestial entities. Au contraire, these are simply words that we use to guide our intention. Together, please chant with me. The circumstantial could be seen yet ever changing. The interpersonal could be heard yet ever changing. The mental could be lucid yet ever changing. The physical could be sensual yet ever changing. Upon the tip of our left little finger, we could rest the great knuckle at the base of our right little finger, palms up in our lap. So we've talked about how our sympathetic nervous system and our parasympathetic nervous systems are the key to mindfulness and meditation. The most efficient way for us to cooperate with them are for us to silently and mentally recite the demonstrative pronoun this every time we feel air enter our lungs, and to silently and mentally recite the one-syllable verb ease each time we feel air exit our lungs. Together, let us practice right now. Good morning and welcome to the second quarter of our group practice. Upon the tip of our left middle finger, we could rest the great knuckle at the base of our right middle finger, palms up in our lap. Let's review the mechanics of mindfulness and meditation. Every time we inhale, thanks to our sympathetic nervous system, we are wired to vulnerably, passively, viscerally, randomly, and fleetingly notice mind's antics of perception, emotion, intention, cognition, recollection, and imagination. Every time we exhale, thanks to our parasympathetic nervous system, we are wired to physically relax and mentally release to such a degree that which we noticed during our previous inhalation could feel as non-graspable as a vast empty void, like the illusion of the infinite azure sky on a bright and beautiful cloudless morn, which, although could be tantalizing to the eye, is non-graspable to the hand. Given the importance of our sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous systems, how are we best to cooperate with them? Simple. Every time we feel air enter our lungs, we could silently and mentally recite the demonstrative pronoun this. And every time we feel air leave our lungs, we could silently and mentally recite the one-syllable verb ease. We come now to the third quarter of this morning's practice. I should say this is where it becomes disproportional. Upon the tips of each of our left fingers, we could rest the great knuckles at the base of each of our right fingers, palms up in our lap. It's not our job to choose what we randomly notice. It's our job to notice whatever figuratively cartwheels across the metaphoric stage of our mind, whether that which we notice is external or internal, physical or mental, pleasurable or painful, interesting or boring, glorious or grotesque. Pardon me. We come to the final bit of this morning's group meditation. Upon the tip of our left index finger, we could rest the great knuckle at the base of our right index finger, palms up in our lap. Let us seal this practice by bringing the 4 bases of mindfulness into the path of loving kindness. What follows are 4 couplets. These couplets are not prayers to a real or imagined celestial entity. They are simply words that we use to guide our intention, to strengthen, as it were, our neural pathways that are in the service of empathy. Together. May all forms be lavish with blissful health. May all minds be lavish with wisdom, joy. May all relationships be lavish with peaceful love. May all circumstances be lavish with safety and good fortune. You have taken your first step into a much larger world. If you feel that I have earned it, you could give this live stream a thumbs up. You could even help support this channel. In approximately 10 hours, I would very much like to return to lead today's evening meditation class as well as group practice. And if you are as geeky as me, may the Force be with you always.